and from Russia. Today we are about to have the cultural and educational program together. So it will be the city tour around my hometown, Samara city. You guys will visit some absolutely wonderful sightseeing, the main points of Samara city, and we will be pleased to show you them to you and also to tell you some interesting and curious facts about main sightseeing about our city, Samara city. So you will visit different points during this time. So I just want to ask you that you can type any comments and ask any questions on YouTube or in WhatsApp chat. So feel free to ask any of them, and and we will try to answer all of your questions, and we will try to comment all of your comments and questions. So feel free to ask any kind of questions. So guys, soon you will be appeared in one of the main squares of Samara city. We call it Glory Square. So guides will tell you some facts about that, and we about to start soon. So 3, 2, 1, let's go.
Hello, my name is Helena. I am a professional. Hello, my name is Helena, and I am a professional guide of Samara. Today, I am honored to introduce my city of Samara to you. We begin our tour at the political center of Samara. This square is called Glory Square. It was designed in the 70s of the 20th century to celebrate the victory over the German army in World War II. Today it is the political center of Samara, as here the central office of our governor is situated. Behind me you can see a monument. It's a worker holding wings above his head. It is the symbol of our industrial city. Practically it is the symbol of all the industry of our Samara region. The worker is holding wings above his head as the symbol of the aircraft and space industry. Besides, it's also the symbol of the metal industry, because metal gives material to the rockets and to the aircraft. It is the symbol of the chemical industry of our region, as chemical industry gives fuel. And this square was also designed to commemorate those who gave their lives in World War II for our peaceful future, for the future and for the lives of the future generations. So here there is the flame to commemorate those heroes who were killed during World War II. And now I invite you to follow me and to see this square. Okay, let's go. This square is a very perfect view, has a very perfect view over the Volga River. So it is one of the central sites of our city. First of all, Samara is an industrial center of the Russian Federation. But on the other hand, nowadays we are talking about Samara as the resort, as about one of the resorts of our country, because Samara has very picturesque views, nature views, and it also has the Volga River, which also attracts attention of the tourists. And besides, our climate is really perfect, especially in summer, to enjoy yourself and to spend your time in our region. So now we've come closer to the flame. You can see the face of a woman. It is the symbol of our motherland, who sent her sons to the World War II. When we are talking about World War II, it must be said that practically it was the hardest event in our history, because there is no family in the Russian Federation, in all the former Soviet Union republics like Georgia, like Ukraine, like Kazakhstan and others. There is no family which is not connected with World War II. Everybody in the former Soviet Union has relatives who were killed during World War II or who took part in that war. From our Samara region, nearly 600,000 men went to the World War, and practically more than a half of them were killed during the war. And near the flame, there is a wall where you can see all the heroes from our region. So it is written here that the surnames of the heroes who were awarded the Glory Medal, one of the main awards during World War II. So all those people, the surnames of those people can be read on this wall. And now I invite you to appreciate the view over the Volga. The Volga River, first of all, it influences the climate of our region. Our region has a continental climate, and it can be described as the climate with severe winters. In winter, the temperatures sometimes go down up to 15, 20 below zero, or even 28 below zero. And in summer, especially in July, the temperatures again go up to 35 or even 40 above zero. So we have severe winters, and at the same time we have very hot summers. And besides, it must be said that our winters, the temperatures, even 15 minus is even colder than 50 minus in Siberia because of the humidity. The Volga River influences the climate. In winter, the Volga River is frozen. You can even go along the ice to the other bank of the Volga River. And in summer, it is one of the most popular places in our city, as along the historical center of Samara, along the Volga River, there are fine sand beaches, and our people just have to cross the road and they can enjoy themselves swimming and bathing in the waters of the Volga River. On the other bank of the Volga, you can see the Zhiguli Mountains. To tell the truth, they are not mountains, they're hills, because the highest peak of the Zhiguli Mountains is only 351 meters above the sea level. But on the other hand, due to their origin, we call them mountains, because when they were founded about 10 million years ago, they were up to 1,000 meters above the sea level. But on the top of them, there were mostly clays and sands, and time passed, they went down to the bottom of the mountains. Besides our mountains, they are made of limestone. It's a very weak natural material which suffers from erosion, and that's why our Zhiguli Mountains are not very high today, but still we call them mountains as they look like mountains. The unique nature of the Zhiguli Mountains was even appreciated by UNESCO. We are included into the list of natural resources of the natural national parks, and our national park Samarskaya Luka, which occupies the Zhiguli Mountains, is a very beautiful place due to the combination of plants which can be seen there, because during the ice age the ice did not reach the Zhiguli Mountains, and up till now you can see there the plants which were typical to the pre-ice age. At the same time, the winds from the ice brought here the seeds of the northern plants, and nowadays on the two neighborhood slopes you can see the plants from Siberia and at the same time from the Crimea and from the Caucasus, from the southern parts of our country. Now again back to history of our region. The main religion in our country is Orthodox religion. St. George is the patron saint of all the soldiers. So St. George Cathedral of George the Winner, as it is called in our Russian Orthodox religion, was constructed here. It must be said that it is a modern building. Unfortunately, during the Soviet period, our Orthodox religion was the main religion against the Communist Party fought, and that's why most of the Orthodox churches were destroyed during the Soviet period. Nowadays, new modern ones are being constructed. That is a modern one. It was constructed in the 2002, and it is a fine example of the old Russian Orthodox architecture with those golden domes on the roof. It is real gold. They are covered, the domes of the cathedral are covered with real gold. Of course, they are very thin leaves of gold, but still it is a real one. Our Glory Square is maybe the first place where our young couples come on their wedding day. It is some kind of a tradition. After they sign on the documents that they are a husband and a wife now, they go to take somehow a wedding tour around the city, and our Glory Square is the first place where they come to again to commemorate their great-grandfathers who took part in World War II. And here, near the Cathedral of George the Winner, you can see a small monument of the patron saints of love and family in our country. Their names are Peter and Fevronia. In this monument, you can see practically all the symbols of true love and family, because, for example, the boat is made in the shape of a swan, and in the hand of a man you can see a ring. There is also a pigeon there as the symbol of love, of peace. And that is the monument where our young couples also come to on their wedding day. And now I invite you to come into the cathedral and to appreciate the beauty of the Russian Orthodox churches. There is a tradition in our religion that women have to cover their heads when they come into the church. Okay, I'll speak a little bit, not very loud here, as it is the church. So you can see how colorfully the walls of our Orthodox churches are painted. Churches was one of the
So hello there, everyone, again. And it's just like a guide just went to the church. Suddenly, the internet connection has been down, yes? Because maybe it's about the religion, maybe someone was about to lose the connection because we just went to the church, but I'm sure that soon we will be... Пожалуйста, выключите меня звук. But I'm sure that soon we will be able to enter the church again. So guys, but now, while we are waiting, when our guide will go out, we will go out from the church, I have some questions to you for our spectators. So guys, you know that our school is held here in Russia and at Samara University, and we are located still here in Russia. So I have some questions to you. What do you know about Russia? Maybe you know some interesting facts like traditions or stereotypes, because you know that all countries have their own stereotypes. So please type any comments that you know, some facts about Russia in comments, and then we will check is it true or false. So now we'll go soon, come back soon to the stream. So 3, 2, 1, let's go.
Now we are outside the church. Inside the church, the internet isn't very good. So just again, a few words about our Orthodox religion. There is a view, an idea that one of the reasons why one of our princes more than 1,000 years ago chose Orthodox religion was the beauty of the Orthodox churches. He was very much appreciated by the beauty of the Orthodox churches. That's why he decided to choose for our country, for Russia, Orthodox religion, and today it is the main religion of our country, of the people of our country. And from this very hill, you can also see one of the buildings which is loved by the children. First of all, it is the building of our circus. In Russian it is cirk, and it is a typical building constructed during the Soviet period, but you can notice that the roof of the circus is colored in black and white squares as the clown's hat. It is because our circus has the name of a very famous Russian Soviet clown, Oleg Popov, and one of his clown's caps can be seen in the museum of our circus. Now, I think that we'll continue our tour and we'll go to see the other sides of Samara.
So we are still here, we are still located at Samara University, and now our guide is about to change her location to show you the next sightseeing. And the next sightseeing is going to be the Kuybyshev Square. So now we have already watched the amazing, spectacular, outstanding views from the Glory Square. It is one of the main squares of Samara city. So next we will see another main sightseeing also of Samara city. So guys, I'm still waiting for your knowledge about Russian culture, Russian traditions, or maybe Russian stereotypes. What do you know in general about Russia? Because Russia, as you know, is the biggest country in the world, and there are many interesting and curious facts about our country. Some kind like there are bears going to the streets, and you know, like Russians like to drink vodka and so on. I will be waiting for all your comments and all your facts in our YouTube comments on WhatsApp chat. So now, guys, I would like to offer you to watch some small video about our city, Samara city. So let's go, enjoy. So we just have seen the video about Samara city and some main points of our city. You've visited airfield of Samara University. You've seen the real size rocket that's standing in the center of our city and other points. So guys, I just checked YouTube and I've seen many comments about Russian stereotypes and Russian facts. So Vincenzo just typed that it's beautiful city, thanks for your compliment. And Ramas told us that she knows Russian dolls. What kind of Russian dolls? You mean matryoshka? It's like wood doll, like inside the big doll you can find smaller. If you will open the next doll, you will find smaller again, and it's like, you know, like constructor, that there is a huge doll and then when you open it you just will find smaller and smaller and smaller ones. Okay, yes, it's matryoshka. Yes, thanks, Ramas. And then Amy Kosa just typed that Russian ballet is so famous. Yes, and I totally agree. Have you ever visited a Russian ballet in general? Because it must see event. If you will ever visit Russia, you must go to any Russian theater and see Russian ballet. It's absolutely amazing. Also, Putin. What do you know about Russia? Putin. Yes, Putin, Vladimir Putin is our president, and I think that he's really popular in the world because of his probably behavior, policy, and so on. Yes, Putin is also one of the synonyms of Russia. My Russian friends are smart, so I think also the education in Russia is very good. It's a really nice comment. Thank you. And yes, Russian education, Russian higher education in particular, it is one of the best, I hope so, in the world. So yes, our education system is going to be better each year. Also, what a wonderful winter scenery. Yes, thank you actually, Aziz, that you found that there are some winter pictures that you've seen in the video, because we just would like to show you that there is not only summertime in Samara, because we have really freezing winters. And for instance, in the winter of 2020, it was some days it was like minus 25 Celsius degrees or even minus 30 Celsius degrees. And each winter is really snowy. So we have snow, like snow is everywhere. So our children like to build a snowman, and also they like to play snowballs and so on. And also I will be waiting for your other comments on YouTube. But by the way, also we have a summer season. And I guess some days ago it was like plus 37 Celsius degrees or plus 40 Celsius degrees in Samara city. It felt like it's really hell, yes, in Samara city. But during winter time, yes, it's really freezing. And previously, when the guide showed you Volga River, you've seen that it's really really big city, yes, a really big river, one of the biggest river in Russia and the biggest river in Europe in general. So during the winter time, Volga River is frozen. So it is covered fully by ice and snow. And many citizens, they like to just cross the river and visit another bank, because there are some kind of small villages on the another bank. And some sport people, they like to go skiing to another bank. Some people prefer to, sail during the winter time. Or for instance, people like to go skating, but first of all, you need to drop all of the snow, and then you will be able to go skating on the Volga River. So yes, there are plenty of winter activities as well as summer activities. So yes, that's all about Samara city, because thanks to our climate and thanks to our location, we have different seasons, as well as spring, as well as autumn, as well as winter, and as well as summertime. So thank you guys, and I will check again all comments, so maybe you have any other questions. Oh, is there a history behind Russian dolls? It's a really interesting question, actually. I think so. I think that there is some kind of history, but I can be mistaken about that, so I will be unable to answer clearly to this question, but maybe I will find some info and then I will tell you. But yes, Matryoshka doll, this is a really famous Russian doll. It is famous, I guess, from maybe the middle of 17th or 18th century. I will tell about myself. When I was a child, and obviously that I was born in Russia, not in the Soviet Union. I was born in Russia, so when I just came to my grandma, we always played Matryoshka. We always were playing Matryoshka because, I don't know, because maybe it's so funny. And if you, for instance, go to any Soviet family, you will find Matryoshka in each flat, in each home. I don't know why, because maybe it's so interesting, maybe it's about traditions, but yes, Matryoshka is really popular. And actually during the summertime, sometimes we have like an exhibit on the embankment when you can find plenty of huge Matryoshka. It's taller than the human being, for instance. It's like 3 meters in the tall. So you can find there plenty of huge colorful Matryoshkas of different countries. For instance, during the FIFA World Cup in 2018, there were Matryoshka according to each country that took place in the FIFA World Cup. So it was really spectacular and really, really fantastic. So I guess that soon our guide will come back and you will be able to see the view from one of the biggest square of Samara city. So soon we will come back, but now it's about 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Let's go.
So we're at Kuibyshev Square. It is the largest square of our city. In the middle of it, there is a monument to Valerian Kuybyshev, who was a revolutionary of Samara. During the October Revolution of 1917, Kuybyshev was the leader of the Communist Party, and he was the first person to tell our people that the regime in our country had changed. So after his death, according to some kind of a tradition of the Soviet Union, his surname was given to the city where he worked during the October Revolution of 1917, and from 1935 up till 1991, Samara was called Kuybyshev. But in 1991, the historical name of the city was returned to Samara. Behind the monument, you can see the building of the Opera and Ballet House. This square is said to be the largest square of Europe. But again, to tell the truth, the square itself is not very large. The territory of the square, together with the 4 small gardens in its corners, is the largest in Europe. But again, the square and the 4 gardens in its corners. The square itself is not larger than Red Square in Moscow, for example. This square is the central square to celebrate all the events of our city. Every year, on the 9th of May, we celebrate the Victory Day, and this square is the place where the military parade is held. In September, we celebrate the birthday of our city also here in this square. And 3 years ago, in 2018, when Samara was chosen to be one of the host city for the FIFA Football World Cup, that square was the main fan zone of our city, with a large screen where all the football fans can come and to see the football matches from Samara Arena, from the football stadium of Samara, which was specially constructed for this event. Okay, now we're going to continue our trip and to see again other sides of Samara. If any questions, you're welcome. I'll answer them at the end of our excursion.
Hello there again. I guess that our guide is about to change her location. And also, Ramaz, I checked the history of Russian dolls Matryoshka. It appeared only, I was mistaken, it appeared only in 1890s near the village of Moscow city. It was created by one of the Russian architect. So he just thought that it could be great to create a set of decreasing dolls. So that's why he just invented Matryoshka. And also why it is called Matryoshka, because in those times it was really popular name Matrona. In the Russian Empire, it was one of the famous, one of the most popular names, Matrona. So that's why the architect just decided, why not? Maybe it will be great to call my invention by the Matrona. So that's why nowadays those Russian dolls, wooden dolls, is really famous by the name of Matryoshka, according to the Matrona name. So yes, and now we about to see some small video from the Kuybyshev Square during the winter time. It's not only the winter time, it's New Year's time during Christmas holidays. So 3, 2, 1, and let's see. have seen the video of the Kuybyshев Square, and you've seen that there was the Christmas tree in the middle of the square, the biggest one, and also there were smaller and smaller trees there. In general, there were like 5 Christmas trees on the Kuybyshев Square. It was during the Christmas time of the winter of 2021. And also, after the first video, you've seen the video about the drama theater and Chapayev Monument and Strukovsky Garden. And soon, our guide will be pleased to show you all of those sightseeings in real life, but it was like the view from the sky during the winter time. And you've seen it's again, everything was covered by snow because it's winter. It's really, really cold time in Samara city. So soon the guide will come back to all of us, and I hope that you will enjoy the rest of our excursion. So it's my time to give a word to the guide. So 3, 2, and 1. Let's continue our excursion.
A small door hidden in one of the yards of our city, which can be really very hard to be found. It is an entrance into one of the most unique Samara museums. It is Stalin's bunker. During World War II, Kuybyshев, that was the name of our city at that period, practically became the second capital of the Soviet Union, as here the government of the Soviet Union was evacuated from Moscow, and the government from 1941 up till 1945 was working in this very building. In case Stalin came, this bunker was constructed under the building. Stalin's bunker in Samara is said to be the deepest bunker of the period of World War II. It is said to be even deeper than the Hitler's bunker in the Alps, as Hitler's bunker, it goes horizontally into the Alps, and our bunker, it goes down under the ground up till 37 meters. So practically a 12-storied building is hidden under the ground here. Again, a unique thing about this bunker, that even our citizens, even the locals from Samara, did not know about this bunker up till 1991. The bunker was constructed in 1942 during World War II, but its construction was a top secret, and people did not know it up till 1991, when the documents became non-secret, and we were really very surprised to discover such a unique construction under us in the city center. This bunker was constructed not for living. It was constructed to be used only in case of emergency. During the bomb attack, as much people as possible could go down into the bunker, and during the gas attack, only the members of the government were allowed to go into the rooms of the bunker and to work there, to live there for 3 days. During the 3 days, the air was said to become clean enough and they could go up onto the ground. This bunker was constructed in a very short period of time. It took our people only 9 months to construct such a construction under the ground, 37 meters down under the ground. Practically, it is an underground tube which goes down into the down under the ground. It is very well protected by the metal, by the concrete. There are no bedrooms there, no kitchens, just only the rooms for the members of the government to work in, and also a very large room for the meetings of the government and a room for Stalin himself. But again, it must be said that the bunker was constructed, it was finished, and it was closed. It was never used. We even can't say whether Stalin visited it or whether not. Nobody knows. Maybe he came to Samara, maybe not, because officially the leader of our country did not go away from Moscow. He spent all the 4 years of World War II in the capital of our city. Here in Kuybyshев, only the government of the Soviet Union worked. And now follow me and I'll show you one of the most beautiful squares of our city. Today it is called Chipaev Square. Chipaev, that is the surname of the officer of the Red Army. After the October Revolution of 1917, there was the civil war in our country. Our people were separated into two groups. The Red Army, which supported the communist ideas, which supported Lenin, and the other part, the White Army, which supported our Tsar, our emperor, and the previous regime. So Chipaev was the officer of the Red Army. You can see him riding a horse, and he is surrounded by the real participants of the civil war, a peasant, a worker, a sailor, and even a woman, real people who took part in that war. During the period of the Stalin's reign, when Stalin was the leader of our country, there was one person in Samara who wrote that Chipaev and the sculptor of that monument was fighting against the Communist Party, as somehow Chipaev is moving against the building where the government of Samara was working, but still, fortunately, the sculpture was not prisoned, as it was said that the Red Army was moving from the other bank of the river Volga. Before 1917, this square was called Theatrical Square, as the building of Samara Drama Theatre is situated here. It is one of the oldest province drama theatres in our city, in our country. It was built on the money given by our merchants. It must be said that before the October Revolution of 1917, Samara was a merchant city. Our population was mostly represented by merchants, and they were rich enough, and when they gathered enough money, they gave it to a Moscow architect with the words, "Building any way you wish, but the theater in Samara must be Russian." So the architect chose the architectural style which was typical to the Moscow architecture of the 17th century. The building of the theater itself was constructed in the middle, practically at the end of the 19th century. But in such buildings during the 17th century, our Tsars lived, and under the towers you can see the symbol of Samara region. It is a mountain goat. It must be said that when Samara was founded, our symbol was a mountain goat, a female mountain goat with little horns. The goats of such kind really lived in the Zhiguli mountain. But when our Tsar saw that symbol, he said that won't do, because such goat could not frighten the enemies, and the symbol of our city became a male goat with very long horns, but the goats of such kind never lived in our territory. Today, again, our people have found some kind of a compromise. We've got two symbols. That male goat with long horns is for Samara region, and for the city of Samara is a female goat with little horns. Okay, now we are going to go into the car, and we'll continue our tour from the car.
So, hello there again, everyone. Recently, you visited the Stalin's Barnkin and Drama Theatre and Chapayev Monument, and then we showed you the video, small video from the sky view of the Strukovsky Garden and again Drama Theatre during summertime, because previously you've seen the view from the wintertime, but now it was the view during the summertime. So our excursion will go on, and it will be continued just in several seconds. And our guide is about to visit the next point, the next destination, the final destination. And it will be the secret. Because I have a question. Do you know that Samara is called space capital? It is called space capital of Russia. And I would like to ask you, why? Why Samara is called space capital of Russia? I think you just need some time to think about it, and then I will try to check your answers. But now it's time to continue.
Okay, we are going on, and straight ahead you can see a tall tower of one of our monasteries. I've told you that practically all the Orthodox churches were destroyed during the Soviet period. Just for you to have the idea, before 1917, there were more than 100 Orthodox churches in Samara. Nowadays, only 6 historical ones can be seen in the streets of our city. All the rest were destroyed. Fortunately, this very monastery survived, and today it is the only monastery of our city, Orthodox monastery. And straight ahead, again, a view over the Volga River, as Samara is sitting. To the left from the monastery, you can see it is one of the oldest Russian breweries. It was founded by an Austrian man, von Vakana, who came to our country in 1890 and started his brewery business here. And during World War I, in 1914, he was called a German spy, and he was sent away from our country, but his brewery still works. After 1917, it was nationalized. Today it also works, and it gives one of the most famous kinds of Russian beer, which is called Zhigulyovskaya, again due to the Zhiguli Mountains. That building, Old Chimneys, is one of the oldest power stations of our city. It was founded more than 100 years ago, and at the very beginning it gave electricity to the central parts of Samara. Today it gives hot water to the central heating, because in Russia, especially during our severe winters, you can't survive in our city, in Russia, in our country, without central heating. As I've told you, the temperatures in winter go down up to even 25 and 28 degrees below zero. Next to the power station, there is a building of our largest swimming pool. It has not only an indoor pool, but also an outdoor pool, and you can just swim in the yard. There is an outdoor pool, and even in winter, you can swim there. To the right, we see in the middle, in the beginning of our there is a place of the city which our people are really proud of, and it is one of the most popular places in Samara, especially in summer. It is our Volga embankment. It is said to be the longest and the most developed along the Volga River. Our embankment is
So, hello there again, and our guide is still in the process of changing her location to reach the final destination of today's excursion. And I still receive no answers about space capital of Russia. Why? Are you still watching us? I hope so. And I would like to tell you the answer why Samara City is called space capital. Samara City is called space capital because cosmonautics in general and plenty of various aerospace industries such as plants, Samara University, because previously it was called as Samara State Aerospace Universities, they are all located here in Samara region. We have a space rocket plant called Progress that produce Vostok rockets and also that produce Soyuz rockets. We also have aviation plants. We more also have such industries and plants like aerospace engines, like that produce engines for rockets and aircrafts. It is named after one of the famous scientists, Kozlov. So we have plenty of industries that are related to the aerospace industry. Yes, so that's why it is called space capital. Moreover, in the center of Samara, as I told you before and have you seen previously in our videos, there is a huge real size rocket. Real size rocket Soyuz is standing in the center of the city, the real size. And later, when our guide will reach this sightseeing, you will able to see how it is huge, how it is giant. And also we will be pleased to show you some small video about the rocket. So maybe it's time to watch it during the winter time, of course. So let's see small video about the rocket of Samara city.
Lots of restaurants. So it of the largest oil and gas company of the Russian Federation, Rosneft. Samara region is a region which is where oil is represented, and maybe that's why where there is oil there is always money, and maybe that's why the level of the economical level of our region is a little bit larger than the average level of the Russian Federation. Then again you can see the embankment, and in the middle of it you can see a white sail of a boat which is called ladya. It looks like a Viking boat because the boats of such kind sailed along the Volga River when the fortress of Samara was founded. Samara as a fortress was founded in 1586 to protect the boundaries of Russia. The fortress was wooden. Due to our dry climate in summer, it often burned, and after the last fire, when the fortress of Samara was only a little bit more than 100 years old, it was decided not to rebuild the fortress because Samara lost its military meaning. But due to the geographical position of our city, it turned into a great trade center as it stood on the cross of two main trade routes, a water route along the Volga River and a land route, a so-called Silk Route from Asia to Europe. Straight ahead you can see a beautiful cathedral. It is called Sophia Cathedral. Again, it is an Orthodox one, but it must be said that our region is a region of many religions and nationalities. Of course, the main religion is the Orthodox religion, but at the same time, there is, for example, a Lutheran church in Samara, a Catholic cathedral. One of the largest mosques of Europe is also in Samara, a synagogue. So practically all the main world religions are represented in our city, and it must be said that through its history there have been no conflicts in our region on the basis of religion or nationality, maybe again due to the merchant character of our population, because for the merchants it is no matter what religion you are, what nationality you are. The main thing, just help me do my business and everything, just give me money and everything will be okay. As for the name of the fortress, it was named Samara it got its name after the river Samara, which flows into the Volga River in the place where the fortress of Samara was founded, and that river gave the name to the fortress. Samar, the root Samar, can be translated from the languages of the people who lived here in the 12th and the 14th century as something connected with steppe. Steppe is a large land with no forests, so Samara was a steppe river. But there is also a legend that in ancient times, when the Volga River was called the Ra, there was an unknown river which flew into it, but in winter, when snow melted, that river became so wide, even wider than the Volga River, than the Ra, that it used to compare itself with Ra, and it used to say, "What is Ra? I myself like Ra." Myself like Ra, in Russian it is Samara. But of course it's only a legend. Nowadays Samara is the largest industrial center of the Russian Federation and one of the largest industrial cities. Our population, Samara population, is more than 1,100,000 people. In Samara region, more than 3.5 million people live. So it is one of the largest cities of our country. It is known all over the Russian Federation as the region which produces one of the most famous models of Russian cars. They are called Lada cars. They are produced in the city in our region. At first, the name for the Lada cars was again the Zhiguli cars due to the Zhiguli mountains. There is a joke that the Zhiguli was turned into Lada because Zhiguli was associated with Gigolo in Italy, and Italian people did not want to buy our Soviet cars. But it's only a joke because the design for our first Soviet automobile plant was bought from Fiat, and our first Zhiguli cars, they looked like Fiat cars. So the name Zhiguli was changed into Lada because sound Z was not typical for many languages and it was very hard to be pronounced. Lada is much more easier, and under this name our Russian cars are known all over the world nowadays, Lada cars. Unfortunately,
hello. We are still here at Samara University, and as you see, there is an evening time here in Samara city, so that's why there are some kind of traffic jams in the center of Samara city, because it's evening time and all people, they are hurrying up to get their homes. So now we're just still in process to get our final destination, our Soyuz rocket. And while we're still on our way to get the rocket, I would like to offer you to watch some small videos about another sightseeing of Samara. It is actually Catholic church. It is called in Russian Kostol. It is one of the biggest Catholic church in Samara city, and it's still the main Catholic church in Samara city. So let's see some small videos. You just watched some small video about the Catholic Church in Samara city. And actually, you haven't seen this Catholic Church during this tour, but later, when we will have a tour around the historical city center of Samara city, we will be able to tell you some facts about that sightseeing, and we will come closer to the church. Because in the historical center of Samara city, there are plenty of various buildings according to the merchant time of Samara city, because previously Samara city was the merchant city, and as your guide told you, Samara city was founded in 1586. So during all those time, there plenty of things has been changed, and nowadays Samara is one of the modern city with plenty of various industries such as aerospace, such as automobile, or for instance agriculture, and so on and so on. Also we have plenty of universities. We have technical, medicine, agriculture, and other different universities. Also we are proud of our, of course, nature, of our huge, absolutely the biggest river, Volga River. We are proud in general that we are Russians and we live in Samara region. And also, if you will have a look on the map of Russia, of the region map of Russia, you will find out that Samara region has a shape of heart, of a real heart. So this is why we like to tell that Samara is a heart of Russia. Yes, and if you will be able to find any map in English or in your own language, you will find there that Samara region has a shape of the heart. So yes, and while we are still waiting for our guides to reach the rocket, I would like to ask you some questions. Do you know anything about space exploration? For instance, what countries are the leaders in the space exploration? And for instance, just like the simple question, who was the first man in outer space? Who was the first man who launched the space? I think it's some kind of simple questions, and I know that our guide will be pleased to tell you answers, but still I would like to give some time to you trying to answer who was the first man in the space. And then I will be waiting for your answers, but now let's just wait a little bit. Just checked out YouTube and there are no comments, there are no answers for my question. It's too bad, it's a pity. It's a pity that there are no answers. So anyway, I would like to tell you some facts about space exploration of Samara citizens. As you know, the first man in space, his name is Yuri Gagarin, Yuri Alexeyevich Gagarin. He was the first man in the space. And as well as USA, Soviet Union was one of the first countries to explore the space. And in 1957, Soviet government decided to launch the first satellite into space. It happened in October of 1957. Then, as you know, Gagarin in 1961, on the 12th of April, he was the first man to launch the space, and he spent like 108 minutes in the space. So it was a really great event, not only for the Soviet Union people, but also in the world, because it was the first time when human being went to the space. And then I guess you know, then Soviet Union started to launch human beings in the outer space, and then the first female went to the space. Then USA started their programs about exploration of the moon, and so on and so on. And then the space race started between Soviet Union and United States of America. So nowadays there are plenty of countries who would like to explore the space, and you know, there is the company called SpaceX that would like to start explore Mars in general, and starting to purchase tickets to just space tourism. It's like what? But yes, this is all about space exploration. So nowadays I would like to give a word to my colleagues, to my guides.
A political center, but also an industrial center of the Soviet Union, as more than 100 plants and factories were evacuated into our city from the western parts of the Soviet Union occupied by the Hitler's army. Among those plants, there was a Voronezh aircraft plant which produced low-flying attack planes Il-2. And on the basis of that aircraft, in the 50s of the 20th century, there was the start of the space investigation part of our history. And now we are going to come up to the tallest monument of the city. It is a real space rocket Soyuz. our city, the history of our city is very closely connected with the space investigation history of our country. In 1961, the first man who flew into space was Yuri Gagarin, a Soviet officer, and the space rocket which took him into space was rocket Vostok, and practically all the parts of that rocket were constructed in our city. And after his flight, Gagarin landed in the neighborhood region of Saratov, but after he landed, he was taken straight ahead, not into Moscow, but he was taken to our city. He was taken to Kuibyshev, and the first place he visited was our aircraft plant, and he went there to say thanks to the workers, to the engineers who constructed the space rocket for him. And he spent in our city more than practically 2 days resting after his flight. And that very rocket, it is rocket Soyuz. It is a real rocket which never flew into space because the rockets, they're burnt in the atmosphere. But that rocket, it was used to train our engineers, to train our cosmonauts. It was constructed in the 70s of the 20th century, and when it became old, again there is a legend that our workers, our engineers, were told to destroy it, but they could not destroy their child. And imagine, they hid it in the territory of the plant. The rocket was taken into several parts, and those parts, they were hidden. But then, after 1991, all the parts were taken together, and now this rocket is the tallest monument of Samara. In the base of it, there is a museum which is called Samara Kosmическая, Samara Space Museum, which tells about space investigation, about the history of space investigation. There are real space modules, for example, in this museum, and lots of facts connected with space investigation and connected with the first flight of Yuri Gagarin. Now we can come closer for you just to appreciate the size of the rocket. They say that the rocket weighs 30 tons, 30,000 kilos without fuel. When the fuel is inside the rocket, it is up to 300 tons. Very, very tall monument. A real rocket carrier, is it called rocket carrier Soyuz. Due to the fact that Samara was Kuibyshev during the Soviet period was one of the industrial centers of our country, Kuibyshev was a so-called closed city. It is said that it wasn't shown on the maps, and nobody from abroad was allowed to come to our city. But in 1991, when the boundaries of Russia were opened, nowadays, of course, everybody can come to our city, to the city of Samara. So one day you're welcome to visit our city. And today you had a unique opportunity to see the main sites of Samara. But of course, we have not seen all the city, all the beauty of our city. So come one day and appreciate everything with your own eyes. Now it's time to say goodbye. Thank you very much for your attention. If any questions, you are welcome. Все.
Ракету покажу, а потом эти все. Девочку хочу. А, нет, блин.
Guys, for being with us during this tour around Samara city. It was a pleasure to show you my hometown and our city, Samara city. And I hope that you will join our other cultural program. So for instance, tomorrow there will be the tour around the whole Russia, and me and my colleague Masha will be pleased to show you some interesting facts about Russia in general. So we appreciate your attention and thanks for being with us during this 1 hour and a half. Thank you for asking your question, thank you for your comments, and let's keep in touch. So thanks again and see you tomorrow. Bye bye.